Former beauty queen Trinity Poague is currently on trial after her boyfriend's son passed away of horrific injuries after being in her care, and this is what her defense attorney has to say. So Trinity was in a relationship with a man named Julian, and then his son is 18-month-old JD. Her attorney immediately starts talking about how great Trinity's grades are and how hard she's worked in school, and then he starts talking about her relationship with Julian. The attorney claims it was very volatile. He said Julian had to have all of her passwords for every social media app. He always wanted to know where she was going and who she was talking to. They were constantly on and off again, just breaking up all the time. He claims that Julian spent virtually every weekend at Trinity's dorm and that he'd also come by at least once or twice a week, but that rarely ever did he bring JD over. He claimed when he would bring JD that Trinity did all of the work and that he would let her watch him alone and take him out and do things. He claims when JD was there that Trinity bathed, fed, and did all the caretaking for him. He also said that Julian has never actually proved that he is JD's biological father and that he has never taken JD to any of his doctor's appointments. Her attorney also told a completely different story about the day before and the day of JD's death. Her attorney is claiming they didn't have plans on January 13th, that all of this was unexpected. They do decide to go out to eat together, and when they meet up, Trinity claims that Julian was drunk. She says that's the reason she put JD's car seat and JD in her vehicle, because it wasn't safe for Julian to drive him that way. She also says that's why they ended up spending the night, because it wasn't safe for JD to go back home with him. Her attorney says they went to McDonald's around 6 or 7 and that JD didn't eat anything, which is important for later. And eventually they all end up back at her dorm. She said that Julian was absolutely wasted, he passed out, and that left her to have to deal with JD. The attorney also makes it clear that she never asked the roommate to go sleep in her room. She only asked if she could go watch TV in her room. And then during that night, there's the text between her and the roommate where she says JD fell off the bed and all of that. You can watch that in part 1. Her attorney is saying that GBI and the police immediately thought that she was guilty, and so from that point on, they did everything to prove that she was guilty, that they never even considered or attempted to find evidence that would prove otherwise. The attorney said that GBI went into the trash that was outside and found a few diapers, and in one of them it looked like there was blood stain in the stool, and they took a photo of that, but they threw it away. So the attorney's like, they threw away the evidence that we would have been able to prove if that was actually blood or not. Because her attorney thinks that if that was blood, then that proves there was some sort of issue with him prior to Trinity ever being around him or caring for him. He also says that they interviewed every single person they could around Trinity, but they didn't do that for Julian. They said that Julian's sister was interviewed and that was about it, but everyone around Trinity was interviewed. The attorney also says there was no evidence of blood or DNA or throw up, which is directly pointing at the fact that Julian claimed that JD was throwing up. He also talks about how Julian told a few different stories. When Julian allegedly first went to the hospital, he had told them that 5 minutes before he brought JD, that JD had fallen off the bed straight onto his face. And the attorney claims that Julian told police that JD had also fallen off the bed on Friday, which would have been 2 days prior to his passing. The Sunday morning, the day that JD passed away, he apparently was not eating or drinking still. So the attorney was pointing out how he wasn't eating at McDonald's and now he's not eating here. Now the other attorney claims that they had fed JD Fritos and a sippy cup of Mountain Dew, but according to this attorney, the medical examiner said there was nothing in his stomach. So that same afternoon, the day JD passed away, they said they were hungry and they wanted pizza. According to Trinity's attorney, she wanted to go and Julian encouraged her to stay. The attorney says that before Julian left to get the pizza, Julian and Trinity took a shower together, but Julian got out of the shower 5 minutes before Trinity. When Trinity was getting out of the shower, Julian had JD in his arms, and they claimed JD was very upset and crying. He gets JD to calm down, and then he leaves to go get the pizza. Trinity claims at that point she was just cleaning up, and she looks over, and JD couldn't keep his head up. Her attorney says that Trinity decided to call Julian because she thought he could help faster. And then, as we know, just 3 hours later, JD passed away. I detail his horrible injuries in the last part. So in my opinion, Trinity's attorney is trying to say something happened to JD prior to them coming to Trinity's house, and that Julian made every effort to make her look guilty. That's just how I'm understanding what he's saying. There's still so much to talk about, but these are the opening statements of the defense. If you've heard both sides, please let me know how you feel about this.